104.5 The Team, Levack Show, brought to you hanging out with Brady. We've got Andrew Marchand with us, and I'm excited because I'm a Yankee fan, and I'm a little nervous because so much has been made about how much Michael Pineda showed up at camp.
Yeah, he looked all right. I mean, I saw pictures, too, before I talked to him in person. I think they looked a little worse than what he looked like when you're talking to him. So, I wouldn't be that concerned with him. I wrote a story about him yesterday, and the one thing I would say about him that's actually an encouraging sign is he seems more comfortable than he has, especially he's been comfortable for a little while now, but especially when you think back to when he first arrived a few years ago when he was a little overwhelmed by being in that Yankee clubhouse, the difference between that and Seattle, the language difference. I'm not saying that's going to make a difference, but it can't hurt that he feels more comfortable in that clubhouse. And the weight issue, I think, it might prove to be an issue, but right now I would say it's not a big one, pun intended.
Andrew, we've got a lot of things to choose from. What's the biggest concern in that Yankees rotation?
This is the case for everybody but health, but there's a lot of question marks with the Yankees. You have elbow issues for Tanaka, Eovaldi, Nova. You got a knee for CC, as well as he's coming back from alcohol rehab, or it's a disease. He's dealing with alcohol rehab and trying to handle that problem. And then you have a kid in Luis Severino who's only pitched, had 11 starts in his career, and though he's talented, you still don't know fully, once he goes around the league a couple times, how his stuff plays. Is he going to be a 1 type? Is he more of a 3? I just think, up and down that rotation, there's a lot of questions.
Andrew Marchand, at Andrew Marchand on Twitter. You can follow me. He's the senior writer for ESPN New York covering the Yankees. And when we look at the Yankees, the big question is, Aroldis Chapman, will he be suspended by Major League Baseball?
I think he will be. There's a belief by some in the Yankee organization it would, maybe be a month to 40 days, but I don't know. I think the commissioner's going to come down pretty hard. We've seen what's going on with Roger Goodell in the NFL, and I think Rob Manfred in this first go-around with the agreement with the Players Association in terms of domestic violence, he's going to want to make a statement. And with the cases involving Chapman and Jose Reyes, those are the first two that are coming up here. And then there's something with Puig as well, but that's not going to be handled, I don't think, in the short term. I just think that I can't see it being soft. I mean, I tend to doubt that's where Manfred will go. So I think he will be. I'd be shocked if he wasn't suspended. He already said he's going to appeal if he is suspended. So that would be an issue. The bigger the suspension, the bigger the chance it gets on Good Morning America and the Today Show and all those type of places. The bigger the story comes, the bigger the distraction, and the bigger the potential that as talented as this guy is on the mound, it could impact him when he comes back.
Andrew, you wrote a piece, a great piece, that a new member of the Yankees staff is a reason Chapman is on the team.
He's not the main reason, but Brian Cashman, when he was making the deal, he turned to Matt Krause, who's the strength and conditioning coach. He had Chapman in Cincinnati before he came to the Yankees before last year, and so Cashman wanted firsthand knowledge about what type of guy this guy is, because of course. The only reason they really got him is because of what's been swirling around Chapman in terms of this domestic violence situation. And he gave him, the green light. He said, you got to get this guy to Kang. He's got a good attitude. He's a freak as an athlete. He'll be the best athlete on the team. And so, Krause's influence in terms of what he said to him, really had an impact in terms of Cashman pulling the trigger.
And now there's Mount Krause at Steinbrenner Field.
Yeah, Matt Krause is becoming a celebrity. Mount Krause is this hill that they built at Steinbrenner Field, and they did it because Krause says that will help them with their training. It's kind of interesting. It's in left field and on one of their practice fields, and so it's we'll see. I don't know if that's really gonna make a difference, going forward, but you know what? It can't hurt unless somebody gets hurt. So running up that hill. Seeing CC or Pineda, Pineda looked good doing it yesterday, running up that hill. It could be something of a little bit of an adventure for those big guys, but it's another way the Yankees are trying to get that little edge, which perhaps could be the difference in the AL East.
Andrew Marchand joins us here on 104.5 The Team.
Andrew, if the Yankees are going to have a big 2016, who's the player that needs to have a big 2016?
Yeah, I don't think it's just one guy, but I think you have to look at the three. Well, we talked about the starting staff. I mean, that's number one. They got to stay healthy, and you need Pineda, Severino, and Tanaka to be good. But then when you look at the lineup, I mean, I think the three old guys, Teixeira, A-Rod, and Beltran, they have to have somewhat similar production that they did for most of last year. Beltran late, A-Rod and Teixeira early, and for Teixeira even and A-Rod in the middle of the year as well. But then they faded late, and Teixeira got hurt. I think those three guys, when you look at the lineup, I mean, they're still the most important. I mean, Jacoby Ellsbury's sitting there with a $153 million contract, and he should be important. But I don't know what I just don't know. We haven't seen it yet, and I think if you just look at his baseball card, I don't know about. I thought that contract was bad when they signed it, and I still haven't really changed my opinion. But he's important. So I can't really say they get great production from one guy, and this will be the difference maker. But I think there's several guys that they need to click for this team to be a playoff club.
ESPN New York's Andrew Marchand joins us on 104.5 The Team. All right, we haven't even seen anything meaningful happen yet, but it's time to make your way too early prediction. What can the Yankees do this season?
I say they don't make the playoffs.
Oh.
I might change it when ESPN.com we have to do it, but right now I'd say they don't make the playoffs. Maybe 82 and 80. But you know what? I'm never. I'm sometimes right, but I'm sometimes wrong. I wouldn't lose sleep over my prediction.
All right. Well, that's why we call it way too early, right?
Exactly. It's way too early. You know what? Even if it's the day before, that's the thing. That's why it's fun, is because really nobody knows. Even when you get one right, it's not because you know. It's just because you kind of got lucky, because that's the fun of the whole thing. And I think in the AL East, there are 5 teams where you can make arguments for each and every one of them. Right now, I'd probably favor the Blue Jays and the Red Sox.
Well, we appreciate you making the time for us. I know you're extremely busy right now, so thank you so much, Andrew Marchand. Follow him on Twitter @Andrew Marchand, and have a great day. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Be well, guys.